Hello lovely people. Welcome to Youtober, and we are actually doing this, I promise. I know last year was a total shit show with it, but if you're new here, my name is Sam, this is Shadow Harvest, and in the month of October I do a video every single day of the month of October. I figured we'd kick off this one with, I am in a little bit of a rush because I'm gonna meet a friend for some dinner, and I did not realize that she's going out of town. And one of the things that I wanted to do for her lovely birthday is I wanted to make her a little witchy candle that was blessed by me and whatnot. So I figured I'd film it and take you guys along for the ride while I just showered. So I'll also be getting ready, and then we can chat some more about some fun witchy gifts and giving magic and of that sort, and some of my thoughts and feelings on it. But anyway, I got a couple more wicks and stuff, and one of the things that I've been currently doing, pretty much collecting all the jars that I get from like Trader Joe's or the grocery store or whatever, like anything that had food in it at one point and it's glass, I'm keeping it, I'm using it somehow. This all kind of started because I realized that these were very cute little like mason jar-esque things that you get. These is from like mayonnaise from the freaking Trader Joe's, yeah, that's it. And I love that. I was like, oh, these are great for like little iced coffees or something. Like I like love these. These are great. Just had to like scrub off all the glue from the labels and such, which is a bit of a pain, but barkeeper's friend. And a little bit of oil to hopefully keep from scratching the glass, and it's gotten great. But now I have so many things that it's even gotten ridiculous to use them for containers and anything else. So, I'm like, oh, candles. All the candles I made previously to this have always been kind of green, and they've been jasmine essential oils because I've liked the vibrations to go along with that. So yeah, this is like my ramshackle system. It's nothing fancy, it's just we already got some wax in there while this bubbles and gets to where it needs to be as the stuff starts melting. It's already melting quite a bit in here, so if you can see in there. I don't know if you can see in there that well. It's got a bunch of leftover wax from previous spells and stuff. So I'm gonna cleanse this lovely container with a little bit of incense, little cleansing stuff, and then I'm also going to bless some of this wax, and then we will transform it into a lovely gift. So one of the things that's a little bit unexpected about this is I forgot that the wax that's currently in there that I'm reusing was actually wax that I had placed my witch's ladder in, which is a spell I did quite a bit ago. I'll post something here about that. So I'm finding all the charms in there in it. I had burnt down the witch's ladder as kind of like a thank you for the end of the spell. I think it all came to fruition there, and then I closed it out before kind of using it into some of the charms into a candle spell, and that is some of the leftover wax from that spell now being completed. So knowing that those charms are in there is somewhat interesting. I was not necessarily expecting that, so I think that'll be something interesting to work in, because I think that magic was really potent and it worked well for me, so I'm kind of hoping that'll also transfer over to my friend. Hi, we're now in my bathroom, which don't need to see in there at all, but so yeah, I just kind of want to talk a little bit about using magic and doing stuff for other people. Excuse the lighting, this bathroom is crap, but that's what you get for old ass apartments in Portland when things are so expensive. But one of the things that has always, I don't know, been a little bit odd for me, I guess, is doing magic for other people. And I think originally that started as, one, feeling like I wasn't witch enough to do things for other people. And that was very clearly just an insecurity on my part, right? Like, my magic is not potent enough. Most of my spells I do for myself are very experimental. I don't know entirely what herbs and stuff to use. I'm not entirely sure about following my intuition or letting things go how I want. Like, a lot of it's just kind of like all over the place most of the time. Like, it's not really any set rhyme or reason unless I really need it to be, and it was really potent and it worked well. And I've like to document those different spells, witch's ladder, some tarot spells I've done, different stuff like that on this channel from time to time. And so the idea of like experimenting with someone else's stuff in detail was always kind of weird for me. And especially because at first it was just like my little sister asking me like, hey, could you spell for me here or there, yada yada. And it wasn't anything too intense or crazy, so I was always like, oh, that's a lot of bronzer, hello. I was not expecting that to be that much on that brush. Okay, we're gonna kind of work with it and hope we can blend that out. Oh my god. Chaos! Why? Oh my god, that is so much. Okay, back to the big fluffy brush. But one of the things that I think, and that was fine because if it didn't work, it didn't work. She would report back to me and be like, hey, I don't think that was potent enough. I don't think that happened. And it was very interesting how, for me and her together doing stuff, whenever she asked me to do a thing, I would sometimes do a spell for her and I would call in maybe just the elements or different aspects. I wasn't necessarily too set on one thing or another with it. And then I felt always very, I don't know, just kind of like a little interested in like what would happen or not, but I wasn't too invested because I know she can handle her own shit and she's got her own spiritual practice and stuff, so it wasn't too terrify me for, I guess, in that way. This is horrible lighting, but it is what it is. So that just kind of was like my starter of like letting other people in and doing stuff like that. But also then on top of it, I slowly started doing like little bits of things without necessarily people knowing. Like I didn't want that high alert on it, and I wore it a little bit at times with consent, I guess, in magic. And I've done a video about that a long time ago. I might update my stance on it because I feel like a lot of things have just become way more gray line for me. There is not a hard yes or no. A lot of that probably is kind of coming out of some of the assumptions I assumed you were not supposed to do as a witch because I read a lot of Wiccan books or certain interpretations of Wicca, aka like if you ever heard things about the Wiccan read, harm, and all that stuff. On that. Now I'm much more of like, hey, if I'm gonna cast something that might help them out, I'm gonna fucking do it. Gifting a little candle to a friend that is supposed to help remove obstacles or blessings with money and stability for their career or any of these things, I have no problem doing those now. A lot of my friends too have like slowly but surely gotten, at least the friends I've cultivated more now, have gotten more and more into tarot or astrology or any of these things. And so with that, and I think knowing that more of my friends are a little more woo than they have been in the past, is also I think because they've always been interested in it. Kind of the same way when it comes to giving tarot readings. Like I don't really ever do tarot readings for anyone else outside of my life. I've done them for family members, sister of course. My parents have asked one from time to time for me. And I've given a couple to some friends here or there, or we've done some Samhain rituals and stuff together, which has been a lot of fun. And I really enjoy that kind of community aspect to it, which I haven't really gotten since I haven't really pursued any sort of coven stuff or anything of that outside of immediate friends or some like light dabblings at the start of my craft when I lived in Arizona. So because of that, kind of slow exploration with like involving others in my magic and stuff, I've just gained more confidence, I think, slowly overall. And also I think just in general, I kind of knew this was gonna happen. I was excited for it to happen, but now that it has happened and the more I lean into it, I am all fucking for it, which is I turned 30 and somehow the fucks to give have slowly started to run out. I don't know if it's just that you experience a certain amount of life and maybe others like ran out of fucks way sooner. But part of those fucks to give is this is a way of me showing appreciation. I now give it more to people who I know will appreciate it. Be it my art or my magic or whatever the hell else. And if they don't find it that thrilling or they don't find it that interesting, I'm just like, okay, well, cool. I just want to do it again for you. Necessarily. And I think that's part of it too, of the, I guess, overcomplicating stuff about magic is feeling like it's such this like serious, must always think it through, such a powerful thing. It's like, one, I think a little bit comes from like my ego too. Like, oh my god, if I cast a spell on someone, if I did a blessing for someone, if I did a little whatever, like that could totally cancel out whatever the fuck else they have going for them. And it's like, I am not that powerful. Like, let's be for real here. Especially if someone's already a spiritual working person and is vibing and doing the things. What? No, like I got some oomph. I've gotten some things done that needed to. That's not up for debate there. I think also too, it just comes down to as well that like this is something that is so important and sacred to me, and I can tell at times, close friends of mine at least have mentioned to me before, I've kind of let them in on rituals or stuff or what I'm doing because I was so like protective of that part. It is just the fact that they're like, you know, I don't want to intrude at all on this, but it does seem really like important to you and I'm interested in it. You know, I would love to like experience like a moon ritual with you that you do sometime or things like that. And I was always so wary before, and I think so much of that did come from an insecurity of, I guess, not seeing or performing or being witchy enough, like a weird thing in like skill of witchcraft. But another of it too, I think, was just because when I was younger, and by younger I mean like early stages of college, and I was like friends with a lot of like very creative but like clear, how do I put this, like I went to school in the city of Chicago to an art school, so there's just like a lot of that like very hipstery but like psychological, very full of themselves, but also just people who are reading, expanding their minds and really exploring stuff. And so many of them, of the friends I made, which were, some were good, some were bad, but most of them were atheists, and they were very militant about it and then very dismissive of anything woo. And because I like had, I think I leaned more towards woo at the time, but because I did have some severe doubts and I wasn't entirely sure, and then on top of it, I went finding out that so many people thought it was childish or ridiculous, and I was trying my absolute hardest to never appear childish at all, because that was one of my biggest insecurities. Anyway, that just like really, and so I just never talked about it or really explored it with many different people. And I think that's part of it where it comes from too. So a part of me, I guess, is slightly nervous in the back of my mind, is constantly going like, oh my god, what if these people judge me? What if these people, you know, they say they're cool with it, but suddenly what if they're not? And it's like, well, if they're suddenly not and they suddenly start making fun of me for it, like, they're shit humans. Like, that's suddenly not as good of a friend as it was. And even if they do find some part of it kind of silly or whatever, the funniest thing for me now is, because that fuck has flown, like it's totally gone, not like a thing really anymore. Where is the hair oil? Tis missing. Ah! Come out wherever you are. There you are. Haha. Anyway, let's go check out the rest of that wax. Anyway, let's do a little wrap up because clearly I got distracted. I was running a bit late, but my friend ended up loving her candle gift. And yeah, I guess comment down below all of the feelings you have about doing magic for other people, and how often do you give magical items blessed, any sort of magic, anything is involved with the gifts that you give, whether friends, family, what have you. Do you have different stipulations on that? All that in the comments down below. And this is Youtober, so I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next video. Bye-bye.